The last 17th Michigan paratroopers are going in again.
Doors don't stop the Union.
And here we are with an estimated 210 player grand campaign event for you. At least how it looks to me is that we are still in between seasons, so they're figuring out who's going to be on what side. But the first round today is going to be the Roulette Lane, followed up by the Piper Farm. Here are the regiments playing on the Union side today, followed up by the regiments playing on the opposing Confederate side. With that all in mind, server population right now is 213. Union right now up by 9 on the CSA side. In terms of artillery, Union is the only side that can have it, and they are taking 5. So the infantry in balance as a result is going to be 3 in favor of the Union side. Frontline reporters for today. On the Union perspective, you have Morgan here from the Hamptons Legion, and then on the CSA side, you have Jam here from Colquitt's Brigade. Appreciate these guys so we can see what's going on the ground. We'll also see what is going on in the sky. And if you're playing in this match, send me a link to your perspective, and that'll be placed, as always, in the pinned comment of the video. Roulette Lane, the map we are watching right now, has an 8% ticket advantage to the attacking CSA side. That attacking CSA side has the 3rd Arkansas with the option of the Enfield and the Springfield 42, and the 27th North Carolina with the option of the Enfield, the Springfield 55, and the Springfield 42 as well. Meanwhile, the Union defense, they have the 1st Delaware with the Enfield and the 14th Indiana with the option of the Springfield 61. So Union team traditionally likes to hold back on the snake fence and the stone wall right by point here. However, we saw, I think it was Union in this event last time they played this a couple weeks ago. And now they're doing it again now, where they're holding a more forward approach on their right side. 17th Michigan and Russian Legion trying to push up there, but 42nd Pennsylvania immediately running around this little pond here, getting on the flank and starting to throw lead into the Union right side. Lily's pushing up. Oh, Minecrafter 24. He's going in. Oh, bye. So more and more CSA starting to shift this way. Lee's French Legion. You got 2 corps shifting this way as well. Colquitt's Brigade following with some more stragglers behind. Meanwhile, opposite side of the map for the CSA attack. Looks like you got the Mason Henry gang and the 1st Cherokee mounted rifles here. Kind of just skirmishing it out with some Union on the left side. But it looks like CSA is going to push forward and try to charge Union, but they're not going in together. So Colquitt's Brigade charges in. They knocked the Union out of the woods there, which was Hampton's Legion and 11th Mississippi. 17th Michigan's already fallen back with 12th Virginia and Shenandoah regulars holding here. Some more CSA are trickling out.
Good shot. Fuck you, rebel. Fuck you.
Brace the corner. Hold this corner, Hamptons. Hold this. I'm the pedophile. Light them up.
Blow in their face.
Light them up.
So Union will eventually hold that, but they lose a little bit of ground. Some Union regiments holding behind. You got the 3rd United States. And then Pickett's Brigade formed up on the stone wall here. Up the hill a little bit, you have this Union battery position. Looks like you got a Hampton's Legion gun here. Maybe a second one. With Shenandoah regulars operating one, and then Pickett's Brigade operating one. So we'll see how quickly CSA side wants to take this. I mean, a little bit of charging and a lot of shooting. Really not a whole lot, all things considered. But each side down about a 1/4 of a stage. CSA down slightly more than the Union. And the question is going to be, when will CSA push the pace? I mean, Union has a nice little stone wall here. These French Legion going out. They're just getting shot before they can even go anywhere. Oh, now they're leaving the woods. Oh, there's another one. And Lee's French Legion is trickling out here. CSA team is charging very independently right now. Colquitt's Brigade charged in, pushed Union back. And then the rest of the CSA pushed up. Lee's French Legion and 2 corps guys with some 1st Delaware. They push up and they just get shot to crap. And the rest of the CSA did not join them. Now the event has a seam chat, so the officers can't communicate with each other instantly. So unless there's a language barrier, because Lee's French Legion is French, you know, and we got a bunch of other languages in the event as well. So maybe there was a miscommunication. Some of the Union groups going really far behind here. Jenkins Brigade. They're hunkering down in this little, I don't know what building this would be. I don't know what it's called. That water is here though, in real life. Just a little. I don't. It's so fascinating. I don't. When you go to NTU and you go to some of these buildings at the Mama's Farmhouse and here, they'll have these little divots here with the water popping out like that. It's real fascinating. Jenkins Brigade's about to get a nice little volley. Dang. All right. Nice couple of shots. I don't think Cokewood's noticed. But Jenkins Brigade will back off here. Nearly the whole Union team has put themselves at this barn here. And this is, again, a really fascinating strategy to see by the Union team. Just because you don't see this from Union side. Normally how this map plays out is Union has a stone wall here. And they also have a snake fence going up the hill. And they hold this defensive line, as I mentioned that a couple minutes ago. But if the Union lose any position on their defensive line, they'll lose the game. So Union may be trying to hold forward from that, keep the fight away from that position. Also, I mean, the stone wall can be a nice spot. Obviously, it's a stone wall, right? And I mean, it looks like some of the CSA might be trying to wrap around, join the rest of Colquitt's here. Yep, it's all Colquitt's moving in, but they could push up on the side of the barn here and hit Union kind of on the rear side almost. So that's the kind of downside of this. But it's not like CSA as an attacker has enough guys to maybe do that full force. And they're splitting up 50-50. Union lines have shifted Hampton Legion here. Looks like they're setting up to mimic Colquitt's brigade.
You know, if you just stand close to me, they'll shoot.
I want to hear them nice and loud, boys. Yeah, you'll get blown up.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, you can see, right, there's been the intermittent charges, but the tickets are down significantly faster than what we see in a lot of other events we watch, like last night, for example, and that's just because of the player pop. I mean, again, look at, we're at 235 right now. It is going up. Union is also up by 13 right now. 15-man imbalance where it's too much to overcome, generally considered. But it's very close to that. So that's going to help Union out a lot. But I mean, outside of that, right, we've seen a little bit of charging and mostly just a shootout for the first, 7 minutes of the round here, roughly, at least since we started recording. And CSA's down 3/4 of a stage. Union's down 2/3 of a stage. And that's just because there's tinier pop. The nice part about this game is the ticket scale based on the server size. But what does that actually mean? So, what was that already shot? I ricocheted off the rocks there. But on a high pop server, there's a lot more people dying. On a smaller pop server, there's less people dying. And so it kind of scales. And maybe we'll talk about this after the fact. Colquitt's Brigade's pushing in. The rest of the CSA somewhat pushing out of the woods, but here they go. They're collapsing in.
Boys, left and right of Morgan, independent fire.
Let's go, boys.
Brace the wall, boys.
Get all on the brick wall.
East, brace right, brace right. Don't charge in, form a spear wall.
Hold it, boys.
Back it up, pull back.
The Union's going to get thrown out. Really good push by the CSA side. A little bit of a pincer there. Although some of the Union's backing off. 17th Michigan is taking control of the barn here. Powell's trying to get the flag. Uh-oh. Oh, can't miss that shot. But good success here for the CSA side. Union loses a flag. Or sorry, it's 2 CSA flags that are down. And they should be recovered. Union getting their flags out as CSA hits engage. Union close to follow. Looks like you still got a little bit of a melee here.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Take some cover, damn it. Oh, sorry, Doug. Hey, excuse me. Blue flag, I need to talk to you. Me and you gotta have a talk. There you go. Crazy.
So Zach gets an officer and a flag there. Look at that. CSA lines back off. So, yeah, I mean, both sides are hitting engaged fairly quickly in the match. And again, that's just due to the ticket scaling. But in terms of that charge, that was really well done by CSA. They did lose 2 flags, and I don't know why they're leaving before picking them up. Lee's French Legion, 2 Corps. I don't know why they're backing out without picking up the flags. They should be retrieved by CSA, but if the Union team pushes back up here, you're kind of just letting them be.
I got you,
I'm so stuck here, yeah.
Fuck you and your flag. Fuck you.
9 killer, 9
Fuck
killer,
you.
9 killer.
Zach just got like 4 kills in that live. That was very nice. Shogun's here though. Preston Cap just stabbed nothing and he dies to Shogun. Shogun does not see Guderian.
I can't.
No. Are you stuck in there?
Guderian.
Yeah, I can't even.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, as kind of mentioned before, right? Server pop, higher pop, a lot of people are dying. On a lower pop, there's not as many people dying because there's not as many people shooting and whatnot. And so if they scaled the tickets to either one of those two server pops, the game would be horribly balanced for one of the populations. Like, let's say you balance for a low pop server where not a lot of people are dying, and each death is worth a substantial amount of tickets. Well, then if you go to a high pop and a lot of people are dying, then that means the tickets are going to drop extremely fast. And it's vice versa too, right? If you tune it for a high pop server like 350, 400, and you go to a small server where not that many people are dying, and the tickets, each death is worth barely any ticket loss, you're not going to get the tickets down to a smaller count server. So as a result, the tickets scale based on server size. And that's why we see both sides dropping kind of fast here in the ticket department.
Crouch and reload, boys. Crouch
Crouch
and
and
reload.
reload.
Give me checks, boys. Check.
So Hampton's Legion hitting a nice volley there. I don't know if they actually hit anything, but they did shoot a volley, and it was nice.
Let's go, Samuel.
Yo, shoot the ones in the barn.
So CSA for now backing off and shooting out. They did recover those 2 down flags. Kolkowitz Brigade, we saw those guys up there a little earlier doing that. But it's really fascinating how this map of Roulette has changed. Union hits engaged. Hello.
Oh my God. Sensei, why are you sleeping with me, man? It's weird.
Up and over. Move up, move up.
Apologies there. We're working on the War of Rights tutorial video, and it's very close to being done. And I needed to get a Rebel Yell and a Union Huzzah when the sides drop, so that's why I stopped talking, so I could snip it for later. Doing multiple things at once isn't it beautiful? But yeah, Roulette has really changed as a map. I mean, historically, right, again, Union has the defensive line, kind of the L formation here, and CSA would just charge it non-stop. They had a huge ticket advantage, and so it could really work well to their favor. And they would win this map a lot, and it was very dominant. But as the server population increased, as the bullet spread of the weapons was decreased, I don't even know, it was like over a year ago at this point, maybe even 2 years, who knows. But due to increased higher pops, the increased accuracy of the weaponry at hand, it has become very difficult for the CSA attacking side to win through charging. And I even mentioned a third reason, which was due to ticket balance changes. The devs started giving Union more tickets, which in the recent ticket balance changes that were a couple months ago at this point, went from a 37% CSA advantage in tickets to now only an 8% advantage. So, I mean, that's a 29% jump for Union in terms of tickets. And so this map has been a lot more competitive. It ain't as easy for CSA to just charge and win, because if you're CSA, you can either charge by going out on this far side, and I mean, it's just wide open. I mean, you're a little desolate, not really, with the elevation change, but Union's going to shred you. And if you try to push up through the center here, you got the Union artillery to worry about on top of the infantry, because my goodness, already shreds when CSA pushes through there. So CSA kind of responding to all of this kind of started making it more of a shootout, but as we can see right now, it's not really working in their favor. So down half a morale stage with about a third of the way through the game. And TSA is going to have to try to find a way to get the ticket lead back. And I mean, at this point, can you really even... I mean, plenty of time, but it is going to be a little difficult, guys. Crap. They're like, sir, how do we gain back on the tickets? I don't know. Union's had a really solid team defense so far. I mean, they're in a nice little pocket here. CSA did the nice prong charge, but they eventually retreated because they got battered pretty badly themselves. I don't necessarily know how that impacted the tickets, although let me look at the live stream of the broadcast as of right now. So it... Yeah, it looks like both sides lost about a fourth of the stage. So, CSA charging it again. They're kind of coming together here. And they're going to try to use the stone wall to their advantage. Getting a lot of good shots on Union. Are they hitting, though?
They're just standing there, boys.
Твою мать.
Back it up, boys. Back it up.
Назад! Это пиздец.
Go around the back.
So Union lines shift somewhat. Little getting battered here. You got a little flanking charge from 11 Mississippi, Midwest.
Yeah.
That charge will fail. All Union guys that formed up behind are now pushing back up. This is mostly 11 Mississippi.
Take that corner, HL. Show them who we are.
Sorry, Hampton's Legion. My days.
Come here, boy. What up, bro?
Le pic à gauche, ça arrive encore. J'ai personne au flag, j'ai personne pour le flag.
Just sit back and shoot them.
I'll get this flag over here. LFL flag. Right over here. Right over here.
So, Union team trying to work it back here. They hit CSA to taking losses, and, I mean, they have a ticket advantage, so I assume they're a little fine with, you know, just charging in, trying to throw CSA out. Because if they can, you know, keep throwing them out, I mean, might as well not let them gain the ground that you want to try to hold.
Alden, you son of a bitch! Alden!
Come here, shot! Die! You die! Die! You die today!
Les gars!
So CSA still maintain a little bit of a foothold here. The flags are a little indecisive on the CSA side if they're deciding to run back or not. But it looks like CSA is gonna hold the position here.
Independent fire! Ce mur et on le tient!
Allez, mettez la buckle-ball avec ta volonté, les gars, avec ta volonté.
Pas de pitié, pas de pitié. They're in the pond too.
Allez, messieurs, faites la volonté!
Ah, c'est bon, c'est réglé à droite.
Au niveau de la fence!
Union's close to taking losses. Hampton's Legion pushing forward, getting a little pinched here.
Зарежем этих гандонов, давай! Мятежники обоссаны! Пошел ты!
So, Union team throws out there. Really nice charge there from Union. I looked a little questionable just because some CSA spawns, Colquitt's Brigade kind of pincering, but in the end it works out. Union team still engaged, although they're going to drop in a second. CSA almost halfway through taking losses.
Beautiful work, beautiful.
I'm kind of intrigued now that I'm thinking about it. So, on a smaller pop, sure, there's less people dying, but for some reason the matches feel quicker. And I would go and look back at my old videos, but it's sometimes hard to tell if that is necessarily the case or not. Just due to the fact that in the older videos on this channel, we did things a little differently than before, or what we're doing now anyways. Like, we used to have an intro video that we would play on the broadcast. We don't do that anymore. It makes sense if we're live streaming and not recording. We used to do much more of a halftime sequence than what we do now for this. I guess we have a halftime sequence now, but it's different in a sense, because for the halftime of the old events, what I mean to say is, you know, at the end of the round, there's the after-action report. It'll go down to the end, and then we'll say, all right, we'll see you for round 2, and then we show YouTube members and stuff right now. We used to not do that like a month or two ago. We used to just cut to right round 2. But when we first started the channel, the after-action report would finish, and then we'd cut to a screen, and we'd all say, oh, who do we think won the first round? And we'd talk about it for a minute or two. Don't really do that anymore. And then, obviously, the post-game interviews that we used to do with the leading officers for each side. We get them all on a call and be like, what'd you do to react to the ever-changing battlefield? And then we just talk, you know, have a good time. Some of those very good memories, which increase the video length. Anyways, multiple things just added to the video length back then that we don't have now, so it's kind of hard to compare if War Rights matches, at least statistically, are longer than what they were in the past, which there's a gut feeling, but I don't have any data to back that up per se. I mean, based on how this round's going, that really seems to be the case. I mean, CSA's down 2/3 of a stage right now, 2/3 into taking losses, so 23 minutes left. Why is the hay bale not see-through, and why are there layers to this hay bale? It's like a cake, a layered cake. There's grass growing in the hay. But CSA making some moves. Looks like instead of meeting the Union, they're going to try to fast. This is interesting. So CSA, if they get a foothold on either of the Union positions or charge up to the Yardy, they'll have the high ground, the good ground. So instead of charging the Union on the ground of their choosing, CSA is like, oh, let's just run around them and get up to the ground that we want. We'll see if it works. 30 United States trying to shift over to stop, but they're a hair outnumbered, guys. Good effort. So CSA, this is the ground CSA wants on Roulette Lane. And so the question is, even though the CSA have taken this ground, can they actually come back? I mean, they are down basically a morale stage at this point. Some shenanigans happening onto the northeast side of the map. But they're down so many tickets. I don't know how much, if they can come back. I mean, they'll be able to hit Union into breaking most likely before they hit their final stage of final push, and then if they capture point, they win. But we'll see if they can actually throw the Union out. I mean, huge step. They've taken the high ground here. The battlefield flipping in a sense. CSA just kind of running around the Union team. And I guess it's going to be interesting to see if the Union team is going to try to charge the CSA out or not. I mean, Union team this round has really committed to charging CSA out of positions that Union doesn't want them to be in. Which Russian Legion, 11 Mississippi push up here. Colquitt's Brigade getting a nice little flank shot here on those Union groups down the snake fence.
Spread it out. Further right, boys. Further right.
Spread it out right, man. Come on. The charging break!
Haha, he said.
Give them the bugging ball. Stand with your brother, Sergeant.
Oh, thank you for the ticket.
So a trickle charge there from maybe Russian Legion, 11 Mississippi gets completely wiped. That's not going to help the Union tickets. You got a couple more Union guys. Hampton Legion going up. The Union team's going to try to throw CSA out. They got to go in together. They can't go one by one because CSA is going to definitely catch up on tickets that way. Hampton Legion now up top.
Drop him, look at him. Watch him fall, boys. Let's go. Shoot him down, boys. Shoot him down. Pull it back, pull it back, boys.
Pull it back. Get chill.
So, I mean, again, there's no wrong answer for the Union team. Like, if they all want to sit down on the stone wall and force CSA to charge at them, since they're defending and they're up so many tickets and just kill the clock, there's that. Union team could all try to charge the CSA. They have so many tickets that even if they lose a ticket drain, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world for them. So, I mean, either option is fine, but you got to do it together. You can't go in independently and expect success in a team-based game that is as big as this. Obviously, you have games like Apex Legends that are team games, if you want to call it that. But that's like a, I don't even know, 1v1 or one-person squads or up to 3 or 4. I don't know. It's like Fortnite too. You know, but in those games, the individual is worth much more than an individual in this game. Imagine if someone could start cranking 90s in this game. Like, I bet y'all balling here. I'm sorry. Y'all balling. He'd probably crank some 90s if he could. So, I mean, really just a scattered battlefield. Obviously, you got the main fight going over here, but there's still a lot of, like, little action on that side of the map. It's kind of funny, too. First Cherokee mounted rifles up here with the Mason Henry game. They've shifted from the right side of the map over to the left side here, keeping that shootout going. And Jenkins Brigade, they're on CSA. I forgot to mention that, by the way. I saw the message and was going to mention it, but then charges started happening, and I'm like, well, I guess can't really say it now. But CSA is now up by 6. Considering the artillery imbalance, it is a 14-man infantry imbalance right now in favor of the CSA side. So, Union team looks like they're going to make the decision of we're going to force CSA to charge us. We have the ticket advantage. There's no way in independently, or no real reason to go in independently, get wiped, die a bunch. Well, I mean, the thing is, Union is a 4th of morale stage from breaking. So, if they do hit breaking, CSA can instantly win upon capturing the point, which... if CSA wins a charge on point, it could happen. More and more Union guys are shifting back to the northeast side, though. Hampton's Legion's going back here. They're just trying to get a couple of kills here. Nice shot, Enigma.
Keep pushing. Stab and go.
Shoot the flag! Shoot the flag! Shoot this flag! Shoot the flag!
So Tar Heel's going to try to run the flag out here. And CSA main spawn's not too far away, just down the road a little bit. Where does this road even go? I'm sorry, I've just never cared to notice. This road, in real life, there's a road connecting from all the way over here to here, and I just never noticed that in game. Hampton's Legion just charged through, and they wiped Jenkins Brigade there too, it looks like, but I've never noticed that road. Like, I've walked it 2 times in real life, and I just didn't realize there was a road here in game. One of the times there was a snake, and we didn't even realize there was a snake there until half of us had already walked past him on the path. Interesting it was. So, even though it looked like Union was going to hit breaking with CSA having a good chunk of tickets left, that looks like that is no longer the case. CSA side getting ever so closer to last stand, or sorry, final push. Imagine if the attackers hit last stand. You know, that would be... I feel like in a lot of ways it could make sense, but... nonetheless, CSA is trying to wrap around the Union right side. Union main spawn is over here, which is why you generally don't CSA wrap around this side. They usually want to push down the snake fence or just charge straight across the field here, but not like that many Union at main anyway. So Colquitt's Brigade pushing in, but they're going in independently like we saw Union doing at least a moment ago.
Get over. Hold the line, hold the line.
Shoot enemy, not us.
Pull back, pull back.
Shoot that flag down. Shoot it down. Shoot it down.
So CSA flag will get out there. But on Sam the Blind Fool, not so blind because he saw his line, but Union it's breaking, so if CSA captures, they win the game. You got some groups going down in that 1st Delaware, 2 Corps, Lee's French Legion, but they're by themselves. And this should probably hit CSA into final push once Union team collapses here. Why is the rest of the CSA team not joining this? Especially if a flag's being brought down here for CSA. Here they come.
Attention sur l'est, ils sont à la fence.
Union team really needs to converge here right now. They're kind of strung really far apart. CSA's all condensing in the center. Their whole team's on point. If they capture, they win. Doesn't matter how the round was. The CSA final push, it just lowered that timer. Union holds this, they might be able to take the game here. CSA still capturing. What a great arty shot. Kills a chunk, but not enough.
Get these flags up! Get these up! Get these up! Get these up!
The flags up, boys.
Alors, il laisse pas s'approcher. Voilà, viens.
Union, though, looks like they're going to start taking it back. Main spawns and respawns flooding in. I mean, even though CSA side is losing the point right now, Union team's down a half a morale stage since the charge started. CSA's dwindling out, flags being shot down. I assume you got a good chunk of CSA spawning main trying to push in. Union slowly taking this back though.
Someone's gonna die today. Hey, why you grab that flag, boy?
So Union team is going to take back their side of the stone wall. CSA has one push left, but this is exactly why, as a defender, I mean, obviously depending on the server pop, but what we say for a higher pop is you need a third to a half morale stage lead. Union team, imagine if they were a last stand the moment CSA had final push, they would have all been wiped at this point based on the amount of charging that's occurred. So Union getting that lead throughout this match has secured them a huge opportunity to win this. 20-some seconds left, and here comes another CSA wave. So what looked like a Union victory for a majority of this match, CSA team takes the high ground. They run around the Union team. A good response from them, but they were down way too many tickets to make it feasible. And again, you almost got to wonder, right? That Union strategy, if CSA in the future just instead of trying to engage Union at that Stonewall area, it just instead says, all right, we're just going to run around them and get up to the top of the hill. Well, I think CSA wins this game because if we just look at the end of the game, right, Union team lost basically a whole morale stage once CSA hit final push. And so if you are a defender and you're not giving yourself a buffer, you're going to be in a rough time. So again, it's just a really good start from the Union side. Union didn't have a bad second half either. CSA just made a smart play, but because Union had such a great start, they could maintain and get a victory here. CSA somehow almost still won this, which would have been absurd to see. But nonetheless, good first round. Again, it's interesting to see a new strategy. You don't see that too often on these type of games. But with that all being said, we will see you all shortly for the second round. Before we get into the second round, I'd like to quickly give a shout out to our YouTube members. Your support is greatly appreciated as it helps the work that we do here now, including the work that I have planned for the future of this channel, which, believe me, we have big things coming along the way, regardless of how long that takes. If you want to get live streams of all the War of Rights broadcasts that we do, including an exclusive non-War of Rights broadcast on the weekly, consider becoming a YouTube member down below. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the second round. And here we are to start our second round right now on the Piper Farm. Server population right now is 242. Union right now up by 4 on the CSA side in terms of artillery. Each side has the option, CSA taking 3, the Union taking 4. That's a huge difference there, guys. The infantry imbalance is going to be 3 in favor of the Union side. And I just want to look to see if someone bounced over or not. 'Cause CSA was slightly up at the end of the first round, but it just looks like, you know, some people hopped off. How dare they? How dare they hop off the greatest game that is the War of Rights. What a beautiful game this... I'm kidding. Yeah. Go do what you have to do, King. Anyways. Why would I say that? 25% ticket advantage to the attacking Union side. Union has the 20th New York with the Mississippi and the 7th Maine with the Enfield. Meanwhile, CSA defense on this map, they have the 8th Alabama with the option of the Enfield with the Springfield 55, and the 8th Florida with the option of the Springfield 55, Enfield, and the Springfield 42. CSA defensive line, you got the 1st Cherokee Mounted Rifles kind of booking it back left. Meanwhile, throughout the rocks here, you got the Lee's French Legion and 2 Corps, the French, 6th Louisiana. 1st Delaware is holding behind them on that front. That's kind of the CSA left side. And as you go to the kind of right side here, you got Colquitt's Brigade. And then 42nd Pennsylvania. And then Robert's Brigade on the far side here. Union, meanwhile, they've spread themselves out as well, kind of starting this into a shootout. You got the Shenandoah Regulars mixed in with the Hamptons Legion, and then furthermore on the right, you got Pickett's Brigade and the 3rd United States. 17th Michigan and Russian Legion starting to push up as well, alongside the 11th Mississippi, who's on a snake fence shooting it out, some skirmishing in the trees, and then 12th Virginia hunkering down on the right side, kind of getting the shootout going. CSA bar is already starting to drop here. Again, very quick into the match, and not too much has happened. CSA defensive line on this map pretty much spans across the whole thing. The nice part for the CSA team is it's kind of hard to tell on the high-up view, but down low you can see it goes from a lower elevated position up the hill, up till about here, and then it starts going back down after the fact towards CSA spawn. So it's a little hill, and the CSA team can hold behind a defilade here and essentially hide from the Union gunfire. But what is the problem? They can't capture the point, or rather stand on the point while in that defilade, which means the Union team is free to run up here like 17th Michigan here, and they are able to capture this point unless the CSA team wants to expose themselves. So it's a hard game for the CSA defense to play. Union team historically, similar to what we saw with CSA historically on Roulette Lane in the previous map, Union team would just charge up here, charge into the center here. CSA historically liked to hold in this little nudge area here, but not too much the case anymore. Again, fascinating how things change over the long term. So Union early cap, it stops the black timer. Gold timer begins. If Union holds for 20 minutes, they win the game. CSA has 20 minutes to retake. Okay, so, I saw a Union guy standing after half the line volleyed, and I'm like, all right, guys, we need to hit the one Union soldier standing there, but, yeah, CSA's got 20 minutes to retake. If they do and they're down tickets, which they already are, they will regain up to where the Union side is at. Now, generally, this means that if you are an attack, or rather a defending side, your goal is to get the black timer down to 0. It's not moving right now, so you want to try to retake the point as quickly as possible to keep that black timer moving down. Also as well, right, everyone's still losing tickets even though the clock has stopped. And the thing is you are essentially, by not retaking the point, giving the attackers free time. Because the attackers are trying to obviously get everyone's tickets down. More importantly, they're trying to get the defenders' tickets down. And time can sometimes be a huge constraint for an attacking team if they just make a shootout, maybe are poor shots, or the defenders have great cover, or they just can't charge for whatever reason. I mean, time can become a constraint for the attackers. So the attackers can early cap, they can give themselves more time as a result. And if you're CSA, you don't want that. And on top of that, too, if you're CSA here, right, Union's losing tickets. If CSA would have retaken the point the moment Union early capped the point, Union would be a smidge more head on tickets, which means when CSA retakes the point and regains tickets, they could regain, you know, a little more tickets, with the black timer being at a higher mark. Because the longer this counterattack goes, Union team's going to lose more and more tickets. CSA's probably going to be down tickets, and then once CSA does retake the point, they'll regain up to where Union is, which won't be as high of tickets as it is now. So I don't know why CSA is not walking up on the point, especially considering the Union team is not really defending it. Union side is just trying to draw them out in the open and get a lot of great shots on them, which CSA is instead trying to wrap around the Union left. Colquitt's Brigade is leading this maneuver.
They're resting.
You're taking their sleeping.
taking a
You're
power
doing a
nap.
job.
They're just gonna try to make this bloody.
Kill them all, boys! Every last one of them! Kill them all! Every last one of them! Kill them all! Kill them all! Kill them all! Kill them all! Let loose that box! Let loose that bucket!
Right there. Kill them all. Kill them all.
Kill the Yankees! The Yankees are disgusting and gay! Keep killing them! Keep killing
Hold this line. Hold this stone wall, boys. Race the stone wall.
How you doing, bud?
Oh yeah.
So CSA will back off there. Looks like they will cap the point. I really don't get that move from CSA. I mean, sometimes an original defending team like CSA will want to get ultra aggressive during a counterattack because the roles flip. Union is considered the defender, CSA is counterattacking, which means their last stand or the last stage is flipped. So Union, as the attacker, now defender, can hit last stand, CSA can hit final push. So if CSA gets overly aggressive, they can potentially hit the Union side down to last stand or retake the point and then instantly win the game. But if CSA wanted to do that, they would have charged once the early cap happened. They would not have waited 3 minutes and then done that. So I don't really get the point of that unless CSA maybe trying to find a way to get a ticket lead. But when you're down, a third of a morale stage, at least at this point, it was, roughly around there before they charged in. But there was really no reason for them to do that. It just helps the Union team out because it brings everyone's tickets down with the black timer not moving down. CSA's still not trying to cap point. Lee's French Legion ran on it, then they ran off it. Now they're coming back on it.
Right, sure.
Allez, on s'espace, les gars.
Vous êtes trop groupés à droite là. Espacez-vous plus.
Stand fast, boys. I know it's rough. I'm with you.
On n'y voit pas grand chose.
On s'est fait découper à gauche.
Ok.
C'est pas grave, les gars. C'est pas grave, les pertes. C'est pas grave, les pertes. Restez là, restez là, restez là.
Ah, il est là.
Non, on est trois.
So CSA start to back off the point, and they aren't able to capture it because the few guys that stayed on there got shot to crap.
Let's go, CKB.
Spread it out.
Spread it out, CKB. Again.
Cigarette.
Pull back. Spread it out. Send it right, send it right.
So Goldquist Brigade will retake the point. They regain about a fourth to a third of a stage there, and Union team is probably just going to run right back up to the point, early cap it, and go back.
I heard about face. That's my bad.
I did too.
No, you
That's
heard
what I
right. It was cancel order.
Whoa. Guys, can we stop shooting at each other? Let's just call this war here.
Hell no,
Guys, can we be peaceful, guys? I'm tired of this war. Let's be peaceful.
It's supposed to be a civil war, you know?
Chance about face. Get back to the fans. Get back to the fans.
Back to the fans.
So nice little conversation there. Union side could be waiting to knock CSA down a fourth of a stage and to engage, and then if they cap point, that gold timer will be at 12 minutes instead of 20. Although I don't know if it's really going to matter in the end, just because CSA will likely retake the point within those 12 minutes. Because, I mean, they just did it now, even though they spent a good amount of time in that counterattack. Well, we'll see. But a lot of the CSA team just hunkering down and hiding. I mean, if you're CSA right now, right, they're understandably trying to avoid casualties and get that clock to tick down. But at this point, especially with the way CSA played the counterattack, this battle's going to come down to tickets. And so CSA is going to have to try to find a way to get a ticket lead. And that can be difficult when an attacking team has a 25% ticket advantage on the map.
Beautiful line.
I've seen people like outside.
And so each death is just going to be worth more on a
experience. I will try it
It's
someday.
just gonna be worth more. I don't know where I was going with that. I had a thought and then I looked at something and I'm like, what is that? And then I just blanked. So, you know, glad to bring you the greatest commentary here that we can in War of Rights. 6 times a week, maybe too much, some could argue. But it is what it is what it is. Don't we love that quote? My days. I mean, that's... I mean, what? Been doing that, well, was often, did this for, what? We started this February 2022. And then proceeded to do it for that beginning portion through the summer 2022, and then took the fall, winter, spring of 23 off, and then did the summer of 23. Did this, I'm saying. I was off at school during then. And then fall of 24, winter of 24, spring of 24, did the same thing, was off at college, and then graduated at that point, and then ever since then, it just... The grind on this thing, it's beautiful though. It's, you know, it's cool to see how it's grown over a long time. It's just fun in a lot of ways. A lot of hard work, but fun in a lot of ways. And we get to watch Union Team now make a push-up. Pickett's Brigade and Hampton's Legion trying to push the pace a little bit on 42nd Pennsylvania. And Colquitt's Brigade shifting on the right side of your screen in the distance. They're going to try to help.
Let's go, boys.
I think Union's just trying to bring people's tickets down.
They're hitting us from the southwest.
There's 2 flags over here.
Let's go. You're headed north. Let's go. Oh, back. Break reloads, pull back. Let's go.
The Union gets their shots. Maybe a little more than just one. And they fall back. Opposite side of the map, you got some Union guys shifting over to the stone wall here. 12th Virginia over here. On the Mississippi, looks like they've joined them. Union Team is the first to hit engaged, but not too surprised considering Union got a little bit shredded pushing up on that left side. Haven't really looked at the artillery yet for both sides, which CSA, are they taking guns in here? Yep, we got a Colquitt gun maybe. Nope, that's just jam on a caisson. But 42nd Pennsylvania on the guns. You have a Union guns all the way over here in the map that we just watched, Roulette Lane. So Union won the map, they retained the guns, and you got Hampton's Legion operating 3 guns over here. So I think there's a Union battery. Yep, there's one there as well, but they're not taking it. They're like, we don't like that one. We hate it. Union Team forcing CSA into engage at this point. I would have guessed that the Union Team will push up and early cap again, because that's what... Generally, if you're going to play a game to shoot, play a shooting match with the defenders, it can be very difficult sometimes to just knock the defenders down naturally. And so what you'll do is what we saw early cap to stop the timer and give yourself more time. If the attackers are going to play that type of game, they generally continue playing that type of game. By that I mean they're going to early cap again.
I want you to pepper it with a volley. Take aim!
I got it.
Fire!
I mean, that's the thing, right? CSA's on the defilade. Most of those guys are just shooting at nothing. But again, they can't see. I mean, even with binoculars, right? You just can't see the CSA lines at all because of the defilade here. And the hill elevation. So, if I'm Union, I early cap again, and I just keep the kind of aggressive early capping up. Unless they can somehow, you know, get a substantive ticket lead here through the shootout alone. But the thing is for Union, right, is they were winning the shootout slightly at the beginning and starting to gain a ticket lead. And then they early capped. CSA eventually retook and regained tickets. So, if Union plans to counter or early cap at any point in the rest of this round, I might as well just do it right now instead of waiting to get a ticket lead and then early capping. But nonetheless, Union Team pushes up into the orchard here. Honestly, it kind of doesn't matter, but it's a preference, I guess. And I say it's a preference because I wouldn't want to knock CSA down a bunch of tickets, then early cap and be like, well, we were up by that much, maybe we could have maintained it. Instead of just early capping right away and being like, well, we're at even tickets, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot. So, 3rd United States on the point. They back off. A couple more Union groups here. Pickett's Brigade and is Hampton's Legion. Shenandoah Rilers up here. Kind of shooting it out. And so, CSA side, looks like they're slightly down on tickets again. Union, instead of full pushing that left side, is instead kind of maybe inching their way forward a little bit. And, I mean, if Union wanted to, right, this shootout, I mean, crap, how long since that counterattack ended on the timer? It's been like 6 minutes. Trying to look at the VOD. So it's been 7.5 minutes since the counterattack ended. And, I mean, the Union has grown themselves to about a fourth of a morale stage lead right now. And, you know, you might as well, at this point, just keep the ticket lead and just play the match. And if time starts to become an issue, just charge. Because even if you lose on the ticket train there, you'll be up by a good amount to where it doesn't matter. Missed this movement, but Union's pushed up into the caissons here. Looked like CSA, but just wasn't really holding here because there's not really a lot of dead CSA guys on the ground here. Which this is going to be great for the Union team. They're able to put themselves in a great position that can more easily see the CSA defensive line, which is just going to really increase the amount of kills that each side is getting, which so far, again, the shootouts have been favoring the Union team. Especially since a lot of the CSA over here are crouching, which I don't like at all. The thing is, the only time, in my opinion, from a strategical standpoint, you should only be crouching if you are in a 100% cover and you can't be hit. And there's just too many downsides to it. Sure, you're going to get a little more cover. That's the only pro, though. The cons is that you lose 3 times the amount of tickets upon death. It's huge, especially for a defender who's down 25% overall. You are going to take more suppression and therefore sway more. It's just going to be a little more difficult to see. And it also takes a lot longer to get your reload going. So I don't like them crouching here. CSA's been struggling in the shootout already as is. And now that they're crouching, and Union can see them more, because you can see every once in a while crouch guys dying, you're not going to be able to outpace a Union team on tickets when the Union guys on the opposite side of you are just standing up. I mean, again, it takes 3 of those Union guys to die here to equal 1 of those guys crouching die. That's huge. So, I mean, Union team is probably just going to keep shooting this out the rest of the way, and then they're going to win the match. I mean, I was a canister shot that just ripped through that one man.
Are these guys just fighting us in the open? Huh. These guys are smart.
I mean, there's not too much more places the CSA can go. Their main spawn's right here, and I mean, they can fall back into the corn, I guess. But the problem is the corn is high up here, and so the Union team could see them. I mean, there's no place for CSA to hide on this map unless, I mean, they all hunker down behind these buildings here, but even then, I'm sure some of them would be seen. So, Union team up by a half morale stage. They're going to hit CSA into taking losses very soon. And I am going to be very intrigued to see the amount of skirmishing deaths the CSA side has. Because you can be in skirmishing when you're standing up if you're just not by a lot of people. But if you're crouching, you're for sure in skirmishing. Here comes Union charge.
Pistol, boy. Give me that pistol. Yeah, get out of here, buddy. Get with that pistol. You put that fucking tool.
So, flag wipe, not a flag wipe, a group wipe. Argos is the last one alive. Oh, I might have gotten team. Oh, never mind. Grim is up here with the pistol. He's letting it rip. So, Union team gets a successful charge there. They get a wipe, hitting CSA into taking losses. Union pushing up on the opposite side of the map. Hampton's Legion getting up close to 42nd Pennsylvania. CSA's just kind of not doing anything. They're acting very limp. And Union team is just...
below the top of the caisson.
Union team's just kind of enforcing their will. Looks like a couple CSA guys charged over there, but they're not going to be able to do much. I mean,
They're charging, brace.
Brace
Brace west. No, we can hold this. We can hold it.
Everybody out.
Fill them up.
Lead them up, Jen.
It's just, it's a difficult situation for CSA, and I mean, there's not much. Really, this is just true of a defender. Generally, defenders don't really control the pace of the match most of the time. Like 95%, unless the defenders have more tickets, which is true now, considering the last ticket balance changes. However, a lot of times the attackers control the pace, and I mean, the attackers are just controlling everything on this map because defenders have no good way to stop an early cap on this, unless they go into the open and Union Team can just shred them from behind a stone wall. Union Teams are slowly moving it up and getting into a shootout, but it just ain't working for CSA's side. This map is a lot more competitive on high pop when the defenders can have a lot more guys chucking lead down a tiny area. And, I mean, that's the difficulty that the developers have, is they need to balance the maps. That's an obvious thing. You know, just keep doing that to make the map slowly more and more balanced. And they've done a very good thing in taking a lot of the data from the game and making the balance changes based on that. The only, I think, problem, though, is if you look at a lot of the average player counts on the maps, and, you know, originally I was just asking for ticket balance changes, and then I was like, oh, you can make it based on data, and now I'm complaining further, but sure. But you could definitely always say that and just say, well, why aren't you happy? Well, it's like, of course you want to always try to improve the product if you can, and now that, you know, we have the next step and something we want, it's like, well, you know, what's the next thing that we can do here to help improve things, or at least just think about anyways. So the thing is that a lot of the events, not necessarily this one today, but a lot of the events that we watch on this channel are, you know, 300, 350, 400. The gameplay is completely different. Obviously, we talked about the ticket scaling early on, but on top of all of that, the game just, again, plays completely different. When the defenders can stack a lot more guys across the whole width of the map, it's a lot harder for the attacker to maneuver and do things, unlike we've seen here in the previous round. The previous round on Roulette Lane, right, if we're quickly looking over here, I'm sorry for looking away, but if the Union Team has 200 guys on their team, they can stack guys in the barn and stack guys all across the fence, so CSA can't just run around them like that. Union Team's not going to stuff all their guys in a barn, so it's a lot harder for the attackers to maneuver, and so the gameplay is completely different. And so obviously, this is a very much a pro versus casual argument, because you see it a lot in other games. Like I remember when I played Fortnite a lot, the bouncing clashes that would occur between pros and just casuals, it was huge, because the pros would want to be like, you know, we're the most dedicated people for the game. The game should be balanced for us. When the more casual person is just like, well, we're the majority, we're casual players, you know. We're not trying to go super crazy with it, so you should just balance it so it's a fun experience for us. And it's trying to placate to both. It's not an easy job. And I mean, as I cover 99.9999% events at this point, I think it should be balanced towards the events. And that's because the events bring, most of the time, 300, 350, 400 players, which is what the game wants in the long term, because we keep increasing the server cap from going 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, now 400, right? We keep increasing the cap. And the devs want there to be 400 player battles. It's just War of Rights does not have a player base to constantly hit a 400 max server in pubs. Instead, what you're going to get a lot of times is 200, 250, 300-ish in that range a lot of the times. I mean, the average player count for all the maps in the month that they collected data was 200. So it's not like the devs want that. They want full server counts, and you should try to balance the game to when those situations happen, which is in events. So they need to balance the game to events, summing it up. But Union Team looks like they're pressing in. CSA down half a morale stage as Union is still engaged, and Union's trying to push the pace here.
Allez, on tient ce mur.
And see, you can see CSA Team is holding where they traditionally do hold. Like when I say that years ago, Midwest charging through the barn.
Abattez-moi ça.
Tu le vois. Ah, il y en a un random. Ouais, voilà.
So that charge is held. Union teammates taking losses. CSA side loses about a fourth of a stage, though, in that encounter. And Union just gains more lines, and they gains more ground, apologies. But they essentially have the whole orchard now, and point in their hands.
West left.
Ils sont toujours nord-ouest, les gars.
One's loaded, dress 9.
Jeez, look at the smoke. What the heck? Well, it's just the clouds being dark. It's very ominous. It's a little scary. You know, when I was driving home from groceries the other day, which was like a 14, or it was like a 10, 15-minute drive, which the European mind can't comprehend. You know, I was talking to Flores a long time back, and he was like, you know, everything's within the vicinity here in Europe, right? But I'm like, yeah, I just drove 30 minutes to go to the store, and now I got to drive 30 minutes back. And he was like, what?
They're running again.
Oh, man. I love driving. It's fun, though. But I just remember driving to the grocery store. It was like a 10, 15-minute drive. And the clouds started looking like this, and you could hear the thunder from the distance. And there was a guy zooming past me with a trailer with a couch on the back of it, and that couch did not have a cover. So I was like, yeah, it makes sense why he's zooming. The storm was very scary. Northern Mississippi trickling in. They're just trying to knock them into braking and, I mean, finish this off. You got some Union guys starting to push on the point here. They're trying to early cap 11 Mississippi. Rest of them going in. They're going to try to push the pace now. Good idea by Union here, right? CSA is close to braking, so if you start pre-capping this point, it allows it so that the moment CSA is braking, you have the point mostly captured, and then you can instantly win the game. Only downside, though, is if you hold it too long and CSA doesn't have braking, you could early cap, and it gives CSA a huge chance to potentially hit the Union team in the last stand. Or just regain tickets, either or. But nonetheless, 17th Michigan paratroopers are going in again.
Doors don't stop the Union.
So as you can see, Union had the point 2/3 of the way capped. The CSA hit braking, and CSA is just not going to have enough time to get there. They're all trying to hop over a tiny area too. Yeah, they probably should have left a little sooner. But nonetheless, Union team, very simple yet effective strategy of shooting it out the wind, slowly pushing ground. CSA understandably was trying to back up more to keep the distance, see if they can find more cover, but in the end, it did not matter. Union team just simply won the shootout. And there's really not much more to say from that, really. It's crazy looking back on, you know, smaller pop. I say 250 players in one server like that small pop. For War of Rights, it is a lot of games. That's humongous. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel more, go beneath the video, hit the join button. By doing so, you can get a live stream of all the War of Rights broadcasts we do and exclusive access to a non-War of Rights broadcast on the weekly. If you are playing in this match, send me a link to your perspective, and that can be placed in the pinned comment of the video. And if you want to sponsor the broadcast in a variety of ways, check out the Patreon in the description. And wow, I just messed up the outro. I think we need to redo the whole broadcast. Anyways, Patreon's description. Nonetheless, God bless. Appreciate you all watching. It means the world. And we will see you all in the next one. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night.